good people. Just wanted to hop on. I know it's been a while since I've vlogged, just to kind of give an update as to, what's been going on and what's my sales journey looks like. I like to really just do my videos just really kind of straight to the point, up and personal, not with all the frizz. What works for people, but just to kind of give you an update, what's going on with me. So was going through the interview process, was interviewing with a few different companies, and it was a different dynamic on each company that I interviewed with. There was companies who sent you information to be able to really practice and hone in on your cold calling, doing a cold calling script. It was a company I went on an interview with that literally, we sat down at the table, hey, did introductions, my name is Jasmine, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, okay, let's get ready for a cold call. Boom, throw you right in. I don't particularly like being thrown into situations, especially when it's like an interviewing process. So I did appreciate the one company that I did interview with, where the recruiter sent me the role-playing script in advance. That way, excuse me, I have some of my teeth. It gave me time to be able to really understand what the role play was going to be about and really be able to do a good job and be prepared for it, because that's what you're going to do on the job. You're going to know what company you're calling, what info you need to do for the company to be able to develop that type of talk track with them, right? So interview with that company, it was absolutely great. So the whole process was, I did my research and I really vetted this company on LinkedIn. So that's why I really tell y'all, like, LinkedIn is where it's at. You have to develop your brand. So I reached out to the recruiters, other BDRs in the company, along with all the C-level execs, because I really wanted to just knock on as many doors as I could, because it's a numbers game. So you knock on enough doors, somebody is going to open. That's just inevitable. Somebody's going to open. You just have to stay persistent, knowing that the end goal, that you just need one person to be able to open that door, and that door is going to lead to other opportunities. So reached out to multiple people at this particular company, and I developed a relationship with a couple of the BDRs. Then finally I had a recruiter reach out to me in that particular company that I really liked. And she never really did get back with me, but that was fine, because I knew that I had reached out to so many other people. And in the meantime, between time, I just kind of kept posting and liking other people's posts and really just trying to be active on LinkedIn. And so finally, the senior director, he saw my message and he messaged me back, and he's like, hey, let's set up some time to talk. Cool. So we set up the time to talk. He ended up not responding for like maybe a couple days, maybe, I feel like it was more like a week. And so what did I do? I went back on LinkedIn and I was like, hey, I know you set a date for us to talk. Is that date still, available for you? Because I know that you're busy. So you really want to let them know, like, hey, I understand your schedule is busy. Just wanted to just pop back in and, have you understand, like, I'm still here waiting. And he was definitely nice about it. He's like, oh yes, like, let's set up this day and time to talk. So I definitely fixed my schedule around his to be able to talk to him. So I had that quick conversation. It was about like maybe 5 minutes. Then he was like, hey, let's move you on to the interviewing process with the recruiter. The same recruiter that I said that did not get back with me, she was a recruiter that I ended up speaking to at the end of the day, which was cool. So she interviewed me, of course, to ask all the typical interviewing questions. It was great, and I definitely say that you have, when they ask you, like, hey, do you have any questions? Absolutely have questions, because this should be more of a conversation, and you want to make sure this company is going to be a right fit for you as well. So I feel like a lot of people are so stressed out, and let's say it, desperate to be able to find a position. But you have to get that desperate spirit away, because it's not going to work for you at the end of the day, because these companies know that you're being desperate. And typically when you're desperate, you don't make the right choices. You always end up doing something you shouldn't have done. So do not come into it with that desperate feeling, because it's going to work out for you, So you just keep pushing and knowing that if this company says no, it's fine. The next company is going to say yes. So with that being said, I did ask my questions. I'm a firm believer, was reading some, looking at other YouTubers, and it's best that you ask a role specific question, a culture question, and a hesitation question. These are extremely important because you want to know what the role specifically is for, and people love to talk. So let them talk about themselves, as well as asking that culture question if they haven't already covered it, in the process of them talking to you. So asking that role specific question, that a day in the life question, and then also a hesitation question. So I definitely asked the hesitation question at every point in my interview, no matter who I was interviewing with. So now we move on to, I asked her the hesitation question, and she said, well, no, I don't necessarily have any hesitation because I think you're, great and we're moving on, but can I offer you some feedback? Absolutely. Because the recruiter job, from my understanding, is to really just see if you're going to be a good fit professionally for the role, amongst other things, but then also to prep you for the next interview, because typically that's going to be with like a hiring manager or someone, higher in the company that's in that particular department. So she did give me some great feedback, especially since a lot of people that's kind of in my community, we're going after tech sales jobs. So really answering, when they give you these questions to answer, like these STAR method questions where you have to, behavioral questions is what it is. Just try to make sure those behavioral answers are based off of some type of sales deal that you've done on your job. So it's very important. So I took the feedback and I incorporated it in my next interview. So I asked her, hey, she said, asked her, was there any hesitation? And she's like, yeah, just make sure that you're answering the questions with really role-specific answers as far as sales is concerned. And then also just, continue just to be yourself. Because I feel like that's very important for applicants to really let themselves shine in the interviewing process. So don't be nervous, because these people, they're people just like you and I. So they sometimes are just as nervous as you are, because some of these people, they don't particularly like interviewing people. And some people don't particularly like being the interviewee. So it works both ways. So that's why it's just so important just to relax and just be yourself. So after I had the interview with the recruiter, they sent me along to, she's like, hey, you're gonna have your next interview with the senior director. This was the same guy that I connected with on LinkedIn. So we had already built somewhat of a rapport, and we had the conversation. So I had the interview with him. Second round, it was very easy. He asked me some typical, interviewing questions, but he really just wanted to get to know me and to let me know the role specifics about the job. So that was like pretty awesome. So after that, I asked him the same questions. Like, you can use these same consistent questions, the role specific, culture, and hesitation. So I asked him, hesitation questions as well. And he told me, no, I don't have any hesitation. I'm definitely moving you on to the next round. So that's why I say just be confident. And of course, do your research on the company. Know what company you're trying to go after. And also just knowing and being comfortable in your situational questions that you have, because they're going to be really the same during every interviewing process that they're going to be asking you, like these same questions. They don't deviate because they just want to know, would you be a good for this company, this organization? Are you able to articulate and express yourself to people? Because keep in mind, we are in sales. A lot of people that's in my community, we're in sales. So you have to know how to be able to develop those, talk tracks, develop those relationships, and not be afraid just to be you, because everyone is uniquely themselves and we all have something different to bring to the table. So after that interview with him went absolutely awesome, because I knew where I stood at the end of the interview, because I asked that question, considering everything that we went through today, do you have any hesitations on moving me to the next level, or how did I word it specifically? You know, with everything that we went over today and my qualifications and my background, do you see it being a good fit for the role that you're trying to fill at your company? And what does that look like me moving forward? He said, absolutely. I have no hesitation. So I knew going to sleep at night that I was going to be able to move on. I had another shot, another round to be able to really
Ford Explorer.
So that was, you know, one of my coworkers trying to just be funny and throw me off. So anyway, it went well. So now we move on to the last round. Last round was absolutely amazing. But before I moved on to the last round, let me say, I'm sorry, the recruiter sent me the link to be able to practice. So it went absolutely amazing because I had time to be able to really understand the role play, what I needed to do, researching the company and being able to really develop my cold calling skills. So that's what I did. So I practiced. So the last interview was with 2 of the hiring managers, and they went through the same ordeal, asking me typical interviewing questions, and then we did the role play. The role play definitely wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. I feel like a lot of us freak out when it comes to the practicality of the job and having to do these cold callings, but it really wasn't that difficult. I was able to knock it out, did the best I could, and then the next day they called me and said, hey, we want to offer you a position. So that was extremely exciting, but I heard a lot of no's, and all I needed was just that one yes. So just stay encouraged that you're going to get the position that is meant for you. You just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing the work, honing in on your interviewing skills, making sure you really pull deep and really pull on sometimes that emotional strings, because people really connect when you have an emotional story. Just really connect with yourself. So just stay encouraged, people, because it's going to happen. What's meant for you is meant for you, and let no man take away. So I am excited to say I finally broke into tech.